Goku is dead. The orange hero passed away during the Cell games, leaving his son behind as the greatest protector of Earth, though he also believed that Vegeta could be one of the greatest. However, not all the Z fighters shared in that sentiment. Even Bulma, the mother of Vegeta's son, doubts his conviction. Now she is at a crossroads between the man she loves and the future of Earth. What would her potential betrayal mean for the sake of the planet? Reality is forever changed now. The Z fighters mourn the loss of the great hero, as Gohan faced off against Cell and defeated him, though at a great cost, as Goku sacrificed himself for the sake of Earth. Now Vegeta lives on Earth, though the relationship between him and Bulma has been strained. Bulma is concerned about Vegeta. It's because of him that Cell was allowed to reach his perfect form, and he even threatened to kill anyone who tried to stop Gero from building his androids. Recently, ever since Goku's death, he's become rather detached from the world. Bulma confronts Vegeta, asking him if he regrets his actions concerning Cell. Vegeta is quiet at first, but remains firm. He's glad he got to fight Cell with his full power as a Saiyan. As a Saiyan, he lives for battle, and it gives meaning to his life. If given the choice to redo his actions, he'd simply do it again. Bulma realizes that Vegeta is too much of a loose cannon. It's simply a matter of time until Vegeta gives into his pride or desire for battle that will cause him to make a choice that will endanger the lives of everyone he cares about once more. With an extremely heavy heart, Bulma decides to make a call for an old friend. One day, Vegeta is training at Capsule Corp when Jaco and Miras arrive. Jaco is nervous and afraid, but Miras announces that for committing numerous egregious war crimes during his time in the Frieza Force, Vegeta was under arrest. Vegeta smirks, telling them that they'd have to fight him first if they wanted to make him submit. Miras fights Vegeta, and he's able to dodge all of his attacks before shocking him with a stun gun and restraining him. As Vegeta gets handcuffed and taken to the Galactic Patrol prison, Jaco turns back to thank Bulma for the tip. Vegeta's completely enraged at this betrayal, yelling at Bulma that he trusted her, that they now have a child together. Vegeta vows to come back to Earth one day to claim his revenge as Miras tightens his restraints, resigning his rights as he was now under arrest. The briefs watch on as the Galactic Patrol spaceship blasts off. Bulma looks at baby Trunks, as does Vegeta from the spaceship. Bulma holds him tight. She made the right choice, right? Vegeta is sent to trial in front of the Galactic King, who declares him guilty of genocide and incalculable amount of death and destruction through the galaxy. Vegeta is sentenced to over 1,000 life sentences and immediately placed into the Galactic Prison, the Galactic Patrol's highest security prison designed to contain the most dangerous criminals in the universe. Vegeta's life in prison begins. At first, there was a hassle as word quickly spread amongst prisoners that the Prince of all Saiyans was finally in the slammer. Many inmates tried to intimidate the Saiyan as well as numerous gangs, but Vegeta spat all of them out. In his eyes, they were all pitiful weaklings. This led to Vegeta being ostracized by many inmates, with numerous prisoners attempting to end his life. However, Vegeta merely brushed these assassination attempts off. In the showers, in the cafeteria, in the gym, every failed attempt only resulted in Vegeta exploding in anger and pummeling his attacker until the guards arrived to break off the fight. Even if sometimes Vegeta was a little weaker, none of them could stand up against his abilities. Slowly, Vegeta managed to send a clear message to the inmates. Don't bother me unless you're looking for a fight to the death. Vegeta scanned the various inmates in the prison, sizing them up and sensing their ki to determine who were the biggest fish in this joint. Most of these criminals were weaklings. There was one inmate with an ugly face named Dragonball, who led one of the largest gangs in prison. He harbored an intense grudge against Vegeta for his blatant disrespect during their first meeting. There was another inmate who reminded Vegeta a lot of Zarbon. There was even an inmate that Vegeta recognized from his time in the Frieza Force, Cranberry. However, out of everybody in the prison, there were only two people that caught Vegeta's attention: a silent android known as 7-3, and the prison's maximum security prisoner whom no one truly knew. According to rumors, he was old, really old, and this entire prison was originally built for the sole purpose of containing him. This pair piqued Vegeta's interest. He wondered if they would be proper challenges for him. After another incident where Vegeta beat several of Sagamon's best men in another failed assassination plot, the Brute decided that he had enough of this nonsense. Sagambo challenged Vegeta to a fight in the prison's built-in courtyard. Vegeta is more than glad to accept, and the two clash. Vegeta commented that Sagambo is definitely stronger than most of the people in the prison, but high-quality trash is still trash. Sagambo orders his gang to attack as dozens of prisoners jump Vegeta. However, in a spectacular display of strength, Vegeta roars as a golden light erupts from his body and the entire gang is blown back. The prisoners look in awe as Vegeta ascends into Super Saiyan. With little difficulty, Sagambo is quickly defeated. However, despite this, Vegeta continued his relentless assault. He picks up Sagambo and repeatedly slaps him, as each slap cracks one of Sagambo's teeth. This was no longer a fight. This was a warning. Vegeta tells Sagambo and the rest that if they ever try to mess with him again, they'll pay for their foolishness with their lives. Vegeta is immediately subdued by the guards, restrained, and sent straight into solitary confinement. While in solitary, Vegeta hears a voice in his head. At first, Vegeta thinks he's gone mad, finally. However, the voice reassures him that he's most definitely sane. The voice introduces himself as Moro, the most dangerous prisoner here. The two continue to talk to each other telepathically for a few weeks. Although Vegeta doesn't trust Moro completely, he does realize that if he ever hopes to escape, he knows he'll need his help. They devise a plan during Vegeta's time in solitary confinement. However, for their plan to work, they'll need to recruit more people to their team. Once he's finally out of solitary, Vegeta decides to make amends. Sagambo was a little scared when Vegeta approached him, but Vegeta extended his palm. The two shook hands, and Vegeta began to explain his plan. Many people decided to join him, though not everybody trusted him. His followers included Sagambo, 7-3, Moro, and more. Vegeta explains the breakout plan. Vegeta has everybody explain their abilities to him, with 7-3's being the most interesting. One night, Vegeta lets 7-3 absorb his power. If his powers worked as he thought they did, then they had a perfect breakout plan. They made an altercation between 7-3 and Vegeta. 7-3 was the one to be sent into solitary this time, right next to Moro's. Moro was going to be the bait here. If anything happened near his prison, then all of the guards would come running. Thus, 7-3 used Vegeta's ability, transforming into an Ozaru at will. The entire facility began to shake as Ozaru 7-3 began to break down the walls. Moro's eyes brightened up. He needed to keep calm for now. Finally, there was power for him to take. But he liked this Vegeta kid. He wanted to see where things would go from here. As guards began running to 7-3, all of the other prisoners began to use their own abilities to try and escape. Moro had only told Vegeta that he had the power to absorb other people's energy, and he started doing just that, making sure to do it to the guard in charge of the individual prisons. He absorbed so much of his power that he was knocked out cold and hit his head against the controls. Though everybody was trying their best to escape with their powers, it was Moro that helped everyone escape. Everyone began to go mad, escaping, but Vegeta yelled at them, telling them to follow his lead. Vegeta and the rest ended up at the hangar, taking individual ships to escape. Some people went their own individual ways, but a lot of them, surprising Vegeta, followed him. Vegeta was in a ship with Moro and 7-3, and he told them that he had another plan waiting ahead. Escaping was just the start. If they wanted to thank him, then they would need to help him return to Earth. But first, he had to unlock a power beyond Super Saiyan, a power that, for now, only belonged to Kakarot's brat, Super Saiyan 2. Thus, Vegeta and the rest decided to scour the universe, trying to find greater strength before returning to Earth. Moro decided to tell Vegeta that, once upon a time, he was the strongest being in the universe. As far as he knew, he was strong enough to face off against the various Kaioshin. Vegeta had no idea what he was talking about, but it did pique his interest. Apparently, Moro's power had been stolen, and if Vegeta could return it back, then he would be his greatest adversary yet. Vegeta thought about it, and perhaps it was worthwhile trying to get Moro's power back. But first, Super Saiyan 2. They went through various planets, many desolated, some with just a little bit of life, until finally ending up on planet Zune. There, they found something very strange. They had ended up there because Moro said there was a large amount of energy around that area. That was weird, since all the residents of planet Zune shouldn't be that powerful. Once they arrived, they saw something incredible. A completely red man with horns on his head. He was holding one of the Zune warriors by the neck, as an M was carved on his forehead, almost as if magic. Moro's eyes widened, recognizing that man. This was Dabra, the king of the demon realm. But that M, that was something he didn't think he'd ever see again. Back in his day, there was an evil wizard named Bibidi, but as far as he knew, he was dead. Perhaps Majin Buu was going to be revived. Vegeta knew they had to escape there quickly, but the thrill of battle got the better of him, and he decided to challenge Dabra. The two battled it out, with Dabra realizing that there was so much evil in this man's heart. But for some reason, Babidi, who was in his ship, couldn't quite control him. Babidi looked around frantically, trying to figure out what was wrong. That's when he locked eyes with Moro on the other ship. Moro was preventing Vegeta from being taken over. Smirking, Moro turned his head towards Babidi, waggling his finger in a no. Babidi gulped. That was Moro. He knew about him from all the legends and things Bibidi knew about. Bibidi and Moro lived around the same time period, and the two were great wizards. Though Moro was much more powerful, Babidi was a little terrified. He knew that if Moro got a hold of Majin Buu, arguably the strongest creature in the universe, as far as he knew, then it would mean that he not only doesn't get to rule the universe, but also the end of reality. He thought he had to stop him right here, right now, with Babidi and Moro rising up from their ships, launching various magical attacks. This Moro was extremely weak compared to the one who we eventually meet in Dragon Ball Super, so Babidi actually has a chance against them. Seeing Moro rise up makes every other fighter cheer and rush towards Dabra. However, without a second thought, Vegeta spun on his heel and fired a Ki Blast, making everyone stop in their tracks, jumping backwards to avoid the attack. 7-3 just wanted to help Vegeta, but Vegeta looked at him directly in the eyes and said, "No, this is my battle. Stand down." Vegeta was panting, blood dripping from his lip. In this moment, Dabra took the chance to spit on Vegeta. His hand began to turn to stone, but Moro saw this and used his other hand to fire a beam directly at the stone, making it disappear completely. Moro wasn't going to let his best chance at returning his power go to waste. Vegeta nodded at Moro, who nodded back. The two battles continued, with Vegeta still being beat down. But with every punch, Vegeta saw images of his family back on Earth. Bulma, Trunks, even Kakarot. These were people that he wanted to protect, but he couldn't anymore. He was betrayed, and because of that, he would get his revenge. Vegeta screamed at the top of his lungs, launching Dabra backwards, transforming into the legendary Super Saiyan 2. Finally, he had achieved it. He felt crackles of electricity all around him. Looking at his hand, he realized just how much power Gohan had, and he knew that Gohan was still stronger than him at the moment. He had to train. Vegeta continued to battle Dabra, this time obtaining the upper hand. However, as Moro continued to battle Babidi, Moro decided to let him go, telling him to run far away. Babidi took the hint and told Dabra that they were leaving now. Dabra, who was still in good standing, even if the battle got harder, looked Vegeta directly in the eyes and said,
"We will meet again, Prince."
Babidi returned to his ship, alongside Pui Pui and Dabra. They were going to the Dark Planet next. They needed to gather much more forces than they originally thought. Majin Buu may be their only chance at defeating Moro, but if Moro got a handle of Majin Buu, then it would all be over. Truly, they were in a conundrum. Dabra asks Babidi why they let them go, as Babidi tells him that he believes they'll need to track that magician and his Saiyan dog down, since they're so dangerous. When Dabra then asks how he plans to track them, Babidi tells him that they already have a little spy in their crew. Moro sits back and watches as Vegeta proclaims his victory and return to their ship. The thought of absorbing all of his power right then, right now, crosses his mind. However, he realizes something else. Not only does Moro want to see how far he goes, but above that, Moro feels that Vegeta could become much stronger. And once Vegeta does become stronger, he can then absorb all of that energy for himself. Vegeta sighed, transforming back into his base form. Everybody cheered for him, but the prince told them to stop. He looked at Moro and asked what their next move was. Moro shook his head, telling Vegeta that he was the leader. Vegeta looked at his new forces, at his new band of pirates. He told them that they would continue scouring the galaxy for strong foes. He needed to get stronger. And after that, once he finally knew he would be able to beat him, they would return to Earth and defeat Son Gohan and get Vegeta's son back.
Hey kids, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video thus far. If you like this sort of content and want to see more and support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon. There, you can help support the channel through various tiers while getting some perks of your own. As a Patreon, you will help get the videos out faster, fun thumbnail art, editing, and even writing for videos. Overall, this is the best way we can ensure to keep providing you guys with awesome content. Plus, you get some neat perks like a bonus mini podcast, early access to videos such as this one, and more. So be sure to go to patreon.com/SmugStick and consider supporting the channel. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Become a Patreon!
And now back to our show.
A year after escaping the Galactic Prison, the gang continues to avoid the patrollers, though they have lost some along the way. Vegeta managed to retreat with Moro, 7-3, and many others to planet Yardrat, where he sought shelter. The Yardrats saw good within the prince and invited them to rest. Vegeta was smart and knew how to handle beings like this. After all, he had been on Earth dealing with fools for such a long time. As Moro hid his key, he was going to tell Vegeta telepathically to play dumb, act as if they were mere nomads. Perhaps they could learn something from the Yardrat. However, before he could even speak, Vegeta was already saying as he wanted. Pibara invited Vegeta to train, and he slowly developed skills. However, his troubled heart did not allow him to complete his training. Rather, he only learned instant transmission. Pibara felt that there was something wrong, as there was darkness within Vegeta, but his judgment was clouded. In reality, Moro was manipulating everyone behind the scenes, using whatever limited magic he had to cloud the key sensing of all the Yardrat. One of the nights, the gang remained in Yardrat. Dragonball was tired of pretending that he was a little lapdog for Vegeta. While the Yardrat led them to their beds, he lashed out, attacking one of them. This spiraled into a small battle, one which Moro had to stop, while Vegeta put Dragonball in a headlock. Pibara had no choice but to kick the gang out, but not before asking Vegeta to reconsider his future actions. Pibara had sensed darkness within Vegeta, but there was also light. Without another word, Vegeta and his gang retreated from Yardrat. Dragonball yelled at Vegeta, telling him that they should have taken over the planet. Without even looking at him, Vegeta slapped Dragonball across the ship and into a wall. He would not have his actions doubted, but it didn't matter. He had learned enough. Their next destination was Earth. In the meantime, Gohan confronted Bulma at Capsule Corp. He questioned her about where Vegeta was, but in reality, he already had his suspicions. Vegeta's key had disappeared from Earth. Perhaps he had gone on another training mission like before the androids arrived. But Bulma didn't have the heart to tell Gohan what happened. She hurt from it too. Bulma finally looked at Gohan and told him that Vegeta would not be returning. He had caused them all too much pain. It was because of him that her best friend, his father, had died. Gohan was speechless and saddened. He looked at the ground and said, "You know, Bulma, I used to blame myself for my father's death too. Perhaps we should both start blaming Cell rather than those who fought for Earth. I'll see you at the tournament." With that, Gohan left Capsule Corp. A tournament would soon go down where Gohan, Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and even future Trunks, who had returned from the future to the past in order to update everyone on the defeat of future Cell, would participate. Unlike Movie 9, where Bojack attacked the tournament goes rather smoothly. Trunks, Gohan, and Krillin get to the end of the tournament, but all feel uneasy as the key seems to slowly creep through the tournament. In reality, from atop of a clock tower, a warrior watches the tournament go down, awaiting for the time where the powerful warriors would arrive. First, Iwaza, one of 3 female warriors from Vegeta's gang of pirates, encounters Krillin in a lava-like area. Then, 7-3 attacked future Trunks in a grassy plain. Finally, Dragonball ambushed Gohan as he made his way through a playhouse-like zone. This sudden attack was assumed to be part of the tournament, but there was no way. They were so powerful. In a matter of minutes, Krillin was thrown to a wall and into a city-like area where he lay defeated. Next, Trunks had his powers taken by 7-3, who glowed like a Super Saiyan as he crushed Trunks into the clock tower. Gohan was the only one to be keeping up against the fighters, as Dragonball was only slightly pushing him back. But Gohan was an experienced martial artist, and he wasn't going to let himself be defeated by a brute. Gohan burst into Super Saiyan for a split second to make Dragonball back off. He seemed to recognize that form as he gritted his teeth. Not only was Vegeta making them fight a kid, but he was a Super Saiyan as well. This must be the one he was after, but that was ridiculous. Why was Vegeta beefing with a 12-year-old? 7-3 dragged Trunks by the hair and threw him onto Gohan. The half Saiyans stood side by side, charging up a powerful double Masenko that sent their enemies flying away. But as the smoke dissipated, more enemies revealed themselves. They were all charging up a blast and fired at the duo, but the attack never hit them, as a caved figure expanded his aura and blasted them away. Piccolo. He asked just who the hell they were. That's when Vegeta, wearing his old Saiyan attire, descended down from atop a clock tower and in front of the Z fighters. Gohan and Trunks couldn't believe it. Vegeta was disappointed that Trunks was having such a hard time. If he was still training, he would have mopped the floor with Dragonball. Vegeta declared that he was only there to get his son and battle against Gohan. Piccolo screamed out that he would not allow him to touch Gohan, rushing in to punch Vegeta in the face. But Vegeta simply burst into Super Saiyan 2, grabbing his fist and lifting Piccolo up. Gohan took a single step back. This wasn't possible. How? That's right, kid. Watch closely. I too have achieved the power of your Super Saiyan beyond, or I guess you could call this Super Saiyan 2. The battle erupted where Trunks was the first to rush in at Vegeta, telling his father to stop what he was doing, that he was just proving his mother right. But Vegeta refused to listen, saying that he had been betrayed not only by Bulma, but by future Trunks too, if he's trying to stop him from getting his present self. Didn't he remember the promise they made? Vegeta had promised to future Trunks after the Cell Games that he would protect and train his present self, make him become stronger, and be there for him. Deep down, Vegeta was hurt. Why hasn't anyone looked for him? Why didn't anyone stop Bulma? Everything he had changed for was for nothing. From the audience, Bulma was in complete shock. She was shaking as she held Kid Trunks, as Yamcha asked her what the hell she did. Without a word, Bulma gave Trunks to Chi-Chi and Yamcha, telling them to run to Capsule Corp and hide him. She would try to talk to Vegeta. Back in the battle, Moro watched from afar, smiling as he sensed everyone's power. Unknown to them, he was slowly draining their energy from the battle, even Vegeta's. But not too much. After all, their power wasn't impressive enough just yet. He was just taking enough to get some of his magic back. Trunks and Vegeta blasted at each other, with Trunks quickly losing the beam struggle. Gohan stepped in front of his friend, telling him to tag out. Gohan screamed out, but he couldn't reach the levels he did when he was fighting Cell. The anger he felt wasn't there. This was Vegeta after all. He helped them defeat Cell. This was his friend. But Vegeta's power was incredible, even more so than Cell's. Gohan had to step it up a notch, as Trunks, Piccolo, Krillin, and even Tien battled Vegeta's men, though he ordered them not to kill them. Vegeta was getting angry, telling Gohan to explode to show him his true power. Doesn't he want to save Earth? Vegeta knew that just like with Cell, he had to take drastic measures to make Gohan's true power shown. For that, he rushed away from Gohan as he tried to reason with Vegeta, and he focused instead on Piccolo. He commented on how it was surprising that they had never fought before, as he started to pummel Piccolo. The Namekian put up a fight, but it was only a matter of time until Vegeta was holding him by the collar. Gohan screamed at Vegeta to let him go, but Vegeta was relentless. It seemed like Gohan was finally going to explode when Bulma's voice rang out and made Vegeta turn his head, dropping Piccolo. Bulma yelled at Vegeta to stand down, saying that this is exactly what she was worried about, but it's not too late. He can stop this right now and talk about things. Vegeta rushed to face Bulma, telling her that what he felt for her was real, but that she betrayed him. Whatever they had together, it was over. Vegeta turned, sad, walking away. He didn't even want to fight anymore. But Bulma continued to yell at Vegeta, telling him that she was right after all. He hadn't changed since their first meeting. The others tried to get her to shut up, but she kept going until she screamed out that it's his fault that Goku was dead. Vegeta dropped his attacks, making his hand into a fist, lamenting the death of his greatest rival. He said that Goku was a true warrior who died for his planet. Vegeta would have liked to have done the same. He was saddened to have to give that up. Now there is no one worthy of fighting him, no one to carry his legacy. or power. Vegeta's words touched Trunks deeply, knowing that his father really was a good person. But he was hurt. He thought back to his own timeline, how he had always lamented never knowing his father. And here, right in front of him, was his dad in despair. He needed to help him. At the same time, Gohan perked up at the sound of his father's name. Gohan was the first to take a step forward, followed by Trunks. You forget, Vegeta. I'm my father's son! The two's aura sparked up into a flare as they both reached Super Saiyan 2. Vegeta's eyes widened with surprise and pride over the two kids. The battle resumed, with Vegeta largely on the defensive. Vegeta was much more experienced and knew how to evade many of the anger-filled attacks, but he was getting overwhelmed by the team-up. He had to get rid of one or the other. Vegeta wanted to battle his son, but defeating Kakarot's legacy was even more important. But just as he was about to attack Trunks, they were both grabbed from behind by Dragonball and 7-3. Vegeta yelled at them to let them go, that this was his fight, but Gohan and Vegeta were already sparking up their auras, pushing them back. Not wasting any time to continue the fight, they were very in sync. After all, Trunks was trained by Gohan. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan and Trunks battled Vegeta. Vegeta couldn't handle both of them together. The boys launched a flurry of blows at the same time, and while getting pummeled from all directions, Vegeta swears that he can see a third person behind the boys, punching and kicking alongside them. Through the storm of fist, Vegeta's eyes widened as he swears he sees Goku standing behind Gohan and Trunks. Vegeta sees Goku preparing a gut punch. When it connects, Vegeta makes out that it was Gohan and Trunks who landed the hit. The impact of the twins' soaring dragon fist nearly caused Vegeta to faint, coughing up blood. But he smiles, stating that Kakarot's spirit lives on after all in the next generation. However, he refused to lose to Kakarot again, no matter what shape or form he may take. Vegeta roars, breaking his limits as the entire planet shakes. A typhoon of ki swirls around the prince as the various zones within the intergalactic world tournament start to crumble. Lightning smites the clock tower as it strikes midnight, its rings echoing the battlefield before being engulfed in flames. Nearby, Moro looks in malicious glee. He was right to let Vegeta live. His righteous anger would give him a feast unlike any other. The former Galactic Patrol prisoners, such as Dragonball, look on in a mixture of amusement and fear, while 7-3 observed quietly. Vegeta roars continue as a whirlwind of ki around him intensifies, his hair growing longer and longer. When the scream stops, Gohan and Trunks can't believe what they're seeing. Vegeta had gone further beyond to what they thought was never possible, transforming into a Super Saiyan 3. Vegeta looks at the boys in a cold glare, getting into the battle stance as he tells them to prepare themselves. Despite their best efforts and coordination, Vegeta is vastly overpowered by the pair. As the battle reaches the apex, Gohan and Trunks stand back to back, charging one final attack. Vegeta stretched out his hand, electricity crackling over his arm. He yells out to the boys, demanding they show him their resolve. Did they really want him to destroy the planet? Gohan and Trunks fired a double Kamehameha, and Vegeta launched his final flash. The beams clashed in the middle as the town surrounding collapsed from the immense pressure. The blue beam seems to start pushing Vegeta's back, shocking everyone. Gohan yells at Trunks to keep going. Vegeta's astonished to what's happening. Was he still not enough? Or are the boys that strong? However, his focus shifts from the boys to the orange gi he sees behind them. There was a man with golden hair performing his own Kamehameha. It was Goku in Super Saiyan 3. Vegeta's veins throb violently as his rage explodes one last time. Kakarot! Vegeta's eyes wide out as his ki expands, the final flash engulfing the Kamehameha before exploding. The spectators run away in fear as the entire town is razed to the ground. Gohan and Trunks lay on the ground, battered and broken. Kakarot was nowhere to be found. Vegeta frowned silently. Was it all in his head? Did he only imagine Kakarot there? He didn't know. He didn't care. All he knew was that Kakarot had achieved Super Saiyan 3 before he did, but for now he had won. He finally beat Kakarot by defeating his legacy. Vegeta powers down and approaches the terrified Z-Fighters and Bulma nearby. Vegeta demands to know where Baby Trunks is, but Bulma yells out that he'll never find him. However, Moro appears behind Vegeta, his hand reaching under his cloak, saying,
Oh, is that right?
From the darkness in his cloak, Moro hands over the infant to his captain. It was easy with magic to find where he was. Bulma cries out in desperation as Vegeta smiles with intense satisfaction. Vegeta tells Bulma she should not be afraid. He will raise little Trunks to be a true Saiyan, to carry on the legacy and pride of his people. Bulma begs Vegeta not to do this, but the pleas fall on deaf ears. While looking at the wounded future Trunks, Vegeta says that he can't do that. He has a promise to keep. The prince orders his crew to prepare the ship. They're going to leave. He has nothing left to prove to anyone, not these Earthlings, and more importantly, not to himself. Without another word, Vegeta turns away to board the ship. As Bulma's cries of intense torment fill the air, the rogue prince and his crew leave behind planet Earth. But Trunks, with the last bit of his strength, fires a ki blast at Moro. This actually hurts the magician, who turns back looking in anger. The potential within that halfling was incredible. Trunks said, "No matter what, father, I'll find you. I promise you that. And I'll bring you both back to Earth. You have a family to take care of over here, not with those criminals. And especially, not with that monster. Whatever he did to you, whatever he promised you, I'll defeat him and bring you back." Moro's eyes widened, but then a smirk formed on his lips. Two incredible Saiyans to draw the energy from. Moro nodded at Trunks as he continued onto the ship. Vegeta did a double take. For a second, he thought about stepping off of the ship, but it was too late. Moro asks what the next course of action is, as Vegeta looks at the little Trunks in his arms. He smiles, declaring that it's time to create their own legacies. Gohan demanded that Bulma tell the other Z-Fighters what happened and why she did it. It was just the right thing to do. Bulma and Gohan argued for a bit, but she finally agreed that it was the best thing. After all, he was a great asset towards Special Forces at one time. At the lookout, she reunited with many Z-Fighters, and she began to explain that Vegeta was gone, that she got angry at him for everything that went down, and that she turned him in. The Z-Fighters remained quiet for a long time. Yamcha finally spoke up, saying that it served him right. But Piccolo cut him off, asking what the hell is wrong with Bulma. Bulma looked down to the ground, and Piccolo continued to say that Vegeta was imperative in the battles against Cell, that he was changing, but he stopped. Krillin agreed with him, while Yamcha and Tien argued that he was the reason many of them died in the first place, why Cell reached his perfect form. No one seemed to agree, though they could see where Bulma was coming from. There was nothing they could do about it now. He took Kid Trunks. All they could do is hope that future Trunks could talk some sense into him. Oftentimes, the Z-Fighters did try to help, but it seems like the only person he was interested in talking to was his future son. Future Trunks has been following his father through the galaxy, often challenging him to battle, other times helping him in time of need. He was unsure on how to handle the situation. It had been several years since he left Earth, and promised his mom to bring back his younger self. But that Moro guy, he seemed to have a firm grasp on Vegeta. But was he strong, or was he just waiting to strike? Future Trunks, with the assistance of the Galactic Patrol, chased after Vegeta's crew for many years, never quite being able to catch up to him. However, on a few occasions, they would clash, and Trunks was never able to defeat his father. Vegeta never killed him, and Future Trunks would always be motivated to keep on training. He would find a way to bring him home. Future Trunks watches his younger self grow up to be entitled and full of himself. He even treated 7-3 as his own butler, but Vegeta saw him as his pride and joy. Even through terrible atrocities, such as taking over planets, there was times where Trunks could still see Vegeta's better side. He defended innocent people from heartless attacks by his gang, and truly seemed to care about bettering some of those planets. But his thirst for a great battle was never satisfied. Though, tomorrow it seemed like every time Trunks challenged him, Vegeta was actually training the boy, so eventually, he could kill him. As 7 years passed on by, Future Trunks reaches Vegeta for one final confrontation. As the two are about to face off, they are interrupted by Sagambo. Vegeta learns from Sagamon's intel that the evil wizard Babidi has been spotted once more, this time heading towards Earth. Vegeta doesn't know how to proceed, thinking for a moment and realizing that Dabra, Babidi, and that Boo guy may be a good challenge for him now. He could just leave Earth alone. However, Future Trunks yelled at Vegeta and snapped him out of it, telling him that they can't allow Babidi to free Boo. Vegeta knew he was right. Too many people would die, but he played it off. Vegeta yelled and pointed his arm forward, saying that it's time for the next challenge. This wasn't for Earth, only for the sake of getting stronger. On Earth, the Z-Fighters reunited for the 25th World Tournament. Following Vegeta's second invasion of Earth, Gohan has been training diligently every day. In the event he ever encounters Vegeta again, Vegeta and his crew arrive on Earth early, heading towards the area with the highest power, which are the Z-Fighters at the tournament grounds. Gohan and the rest instantly power up to their full strength, ready to fight Vegeta and his men. Gohan goes in for a right hook, but Future Trunks steps in the way with his arms spread wide, stopping Gohan. For a second, he's worried that Vegeta had convinced Trunks to join him, but this was much worse. Trunks and Vegeta went on to explain exactly what they were there to do. Vegeta informs the Earthlings that he isn't there to fight them. He's here to fight the dangerous wizard Babidi and prevent the resurrection of Majin Buu. Bulma tries to rush over and hug Present Trunks, but he completely dodges her, going behind Vegeta's leg asking who this Earthling woman is. Bulma cries upon the realization that Present Trunks doesn't really have a memory of her. Gohan and Videl try to comfort her, promising that they would bring him back, with Gohan looking at Vegeta with the most hatred possible. Goten walked up to little Trunks, asking for his name, only to be insulted and pushed to the ground. Moro then noticed Kaioshin and Kibito approaching them. The Kais are utterly horrified to see Moro there. They view Moro as a threat greater than even Babidi. However, this may be their best bet to stop Buu. The Z-Fighters await the return of Goku from Otherworld, until finally he arrived. Vegeta feels a strange set of emotions he couldn't quite make out. Was he excited, angry, happy? Goku smiled at Vegeta and shot him a thumbs up. Vegeta was weirded out. It seemed like Kakarot didn't know exactly what transpired. But that couldn't be so. Vegeta saw Kakarot when he tried to invade Earth. Goku smirked, saying that he knew what happened, but he cared more about seeing how much he'd improve. Vegeta wasn't that bad of a guy, right? That's when Vegeta looked over to Bulma, who couldn't look him in the eyes. Vegeta walked away from Kakarot as Gohan moved next to his father and explained something. Vegeta hadn't just attacked Earth again. He tried to take over and kidnap Trunks. He left Bulma in ruins. Goku's attitude changed, so that was it, huh? Goku couldn't forgive Vegeta for hurting Bulma like that, but Piccolo kidnapped Gohan and he turned out fine, right? Gohan thought about it for a second, and though he was right, Gohan tells Goku that they all suspect something much darker is going on with Vegeta. That guy with him, Moro. He's up to no good. Goku looks up at Moro. A cold sweat drips down his spine as Moro looks at him directly in the eyes the second he moved to look at him. Goku quickly looked away to turn to Bulma. He tells her that Vegeta was a good person during the Cell Games, even if flawed. He was changing. What she did wasn't right. Bulma puts her finger up to Goku's chest, saying that she has been hearing that what she did is wrong for 7 years, and for those 7 years she got her punishment, as her son was taken from her. Goku sighed, telling her that she's right, but he only wished that she would have believed in Vegeta the way she did when they first fell in love. But Goku simply walked by Vegeta. He'd have to deal with this later. After some discussion on what to do, all the factions agreed to head towards Babidi's ship. However, unlike the original story, Babidi already has an army of fighters waiting for the battle. Spopovich, Yamu, Yakon, Pui, Dabra, and dozens of other aliens waiting to kill the fighters. How did they find out? Sagamo laughed as he stepped forward, a dark M forming on his forehead.
As promised, Lord Babidi, the strongest beings in order to revive Majin Buu.
This betrayal surprised Vegeta, not knowing his sight had been clouded by Moro for so long. In an instant, Vegeta rushed to face Sagambo, though his power was incredible after the Majin boost. Without wasting much time, the fighters all rushed into battle. Some had a greater time than others, with many falling to Dabra's spit. To Vegeta's own surprise, he and Goku were still very much in sync as they battled and defeated Yakon and Pui Pui. Even so, Goku seemed to have no interest in fighting nor talking to Vegeta, unknown to them all, and despite warnings by Kaioshin and Kirito, Majin Buu continued to collect more and more Kili as they fought. But soon enough, those warnings became more dire as Vegeta continued to beat down on Dabura as a Super Saiyan 2, saying how disappointed he was at the Demon King. All these years waiting for their rematch, Vegeta could hear the Kaioshin telling him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. Until finally, Goku punches Vegeta across the face and through a mountain. This is what Vegeta wanted, right? And with the revival of Buu, he'd have 2 rivals. But this wasn't fun for Goku, as he yelled at him that he's nothing more than a maniac now, pointing over at future Trunks and telling him how his own son couldn't convince him that he was wrong.
You used to be a warrior with pride, talent. Now you're just a pirate who takes children from their mothers.
Vegeta looks at his hands. Maybe Kakarot was right, but it didn't matter, did it? All he needed was this fight. The two clashed overhead with the most incredible and intense battle as Babidi laughed in victory, finally proclaiming the birth of Buu as he forces Dabura to attack. The Z Fighters defend themselves and create more Kili until smoke pours out of Buu's egg. Majin Buu was born, and as Goku and Vegeta punch each other in the face as Super Saiyan 3s, the fight stops in the face of the immense power of Majin Buu. The monster began to jump around, turning others into chocolate. Babidi began using magic to make Buu do his bidding, but it wasn't working as planned. It was then when Babidi looked over at Moro and watched him use spells to try and control Buu as well. This seemed painful. This seemed painful for the monster, as he began to be pulled into 2 different directions. Even some of the Z Fighters yelled at them to stop. This was cruel. However, this magical tug of war only served to pull Majin Buu's psyche apart, as it separates Buu from the Grand Supreme Kai who was trapped inside of him. Moro is shocked to see him, while Shin and Kibito are delighted. However, there's no time for that, as Majin Buu transforms back into his primal state, Kid Buu. Realizing that Earth will be destroyed if Kid Buu attacks, the Kais use their magic to teleport the combatants to the Supreme Kai's planet. However, Vegeta orders Moro to leave Kid Trunks behind. Vegeta promises to return for him. He tells him to defend what he can, in case any of Babidi's men stay behind. In an instant, the combatants disappear. Kid Trunks interprets this as his father allowing him to continue the invasion of Earth on his own. Smug and sure of himself, Kid Trunks heads off to the World Tournament Arena. At the arena, just as Mr. Satan is about to be crowned the World Martial Arts Champion, Kid Trunks announces his intent to conquer the world, but he's approached by a child, Goten, who tells him to stop. In the meantime, at Kaioshin's planet, Vegeta and Goku's crew both stare each other down. Goku accused Vegeta of betraying them and wanting to destroy Earth, but Vegeta said that he didn't know Sagambo was going to betray them. The two threw nasty insults, but there was a smirk and something tongue-in-cheek about it, to the point where it seemed like they were going to have another brawl. Shin, however, told them to stop, that this is a nightmare, having to work with Moro, the birth of Buu, if Babidi didn't kill them, then it would be Moro. But the wizard simply stayed quiet, as everyone turned to face a being coughing behind them. Shin's eyes widened as he ran to the Grand Supreme Kai, who had been expelled out of Buu. Shin couldn't believe that his old friend was back, but he was serious as soon as he woke up. He warned that Buu and Babidi were already on their way, and that they needed to work together to defeat him. He glanced over at Moro, who was fuming with rage at his sight. He promised that whatever beef they had, they would have to settle it after the battle. Right then and there, Kid Buu, Sagambo, Dabura, and Babidi appeared. Gohan burst into Super Saiyan 2, Goku and Vegeta into Super Saiyan 3, and the rest maxed out their ki. The battle against Buu began, with the Saiyans struggling as Buu was powered up by Babidi and even Moro, who was trying to control Buu. Vegeta thought that he was on their side, wanting to use Buu for their own advantage, but the Kais and even Babidi were afraid of what that might mean. In a moment of pure madness, Babidi and Shin agreed to join forces in battle against Moro. As Goku and Vegeta begin to overwhelm Buu, Moro angrily begins to draw energy from every fighter except except for Boo, who seemed to be immune. His energy explodes as Goku and Vegeta power down from Super Saiyan 3 into 2. Dabura continues to battle Moro alongside the Grand Kai, Kibito and Shin. Other Z fighters like Trunks and Gohan join in as well, and it was taking all of his new acquired power to push his enemies off. Not only that, but Babidi and Moro continued to wrestle for Boo's control, and the Grand Kai kept trying to trap Moro within an object and seal him away. It took most of Moro's stored magic reserves to defend himself from the Grand Supreme Kai's spells. He had no time to waste on the small fry. Babidi couldn't believe it, as Moro engulfed him in fire and fried the smaller wizard. But Dabura, released from Babidi's spell, continued to attack Moro. The Goat Man was getting worn out. The Majin was getting tired of being controlled and zoomed in to try and attack Moro. Most of Moro's spells had no effect on the rampaging genie as he pummeled him down. However, despite everyone trying to attack him, Vegeta jumped in the way and defended Moro, telling him not to worry about Boo. This surprised not only Moro but everyone else. Even so, it seemed like they were dealing with a losing battle. Without much of a choice, the Grand Kai threw his Potara at Vegeta and Goku, telling them to use them to defeat Boo. It was clear that Moro wasn't going to help. Goku protested at first. He had no interest in fusing with Vegeta, but the Kai reassured that this would not be permanent. Goku and Vegeta reluctantly agreed and fused into the most powerful fusion, Super Saiyan 3 Vegito. The power rocketed heavens. As a halo floated over his head, the fight resumed, and Moro knew better than to try and continue the fight, disappearing into the shadows and hiding away from them. Fine. If he couldn't control Boo, it would simply allow Vegeta to get stronger. Vegito fought Kid Buu valiantly, to the point where he cupped his hands, charging his ultimate final Kamehameha, which disintegrated Buu. It was over. Majin Buu was defeated, and as Moro reappeared, the focus was put on him. Gohan, Trunks, the Kais, the humans, and even Dabura knew they had to stop the monster. Only 7-3 and a few of his men stood by. As the Demon King attacked, 7-3 grabbed him and copied his moves, spitting on him and turning him into stone as a warning to everyone else to stay away from Moro. Now, a statue of Dabura would remain in the Kaioshin realm forever as a reminder of this day. Vegito stepped in front. Within him, Vegeta's side of the fusion proved to care too much about the old wizard. As the fusion ended and Goku floated over to his friends, Vegeta still stood with his arms wide open, protecting Moro.
I won't allow you to hurt one of my men. But Vegeta, he's just using you! The last time I checked, you all used me too. Back on Namek and with the androids, I was just a means to an end. I fought your battles, and the moment you Earthlings found peace, I wasn't useful anymore, so you threw me away. Locked me up in prison. Unlike you lot, Moro actually helped me escape. He's done more for me than any of you.
Moro smirked. He knew Vegeta was under his thumb. He placed his hand on Vegeta's shoulder and told him he'd meet him at the ship. With that, Moro and the rest of Vegeta's squad teleported over to his ship. The Grand Kai cursed to the world, saying that they should have defeated him. But for now, it was time to switch back with Buu. But he promised Vegeta next time Moro caused trouble, it would be over, as the face of the Grand Kai turned into that of Fat Buu, smiling, seemingly no longer a threat. Everyone returned to Earth to find something amusing. Kid Trunks and Goten battling it out at the World Tournament, following the Little Prince's declaration to take over the world before taking their fight to the planes their fathers once fought in a long time ago. Their battle was intense, leading to a massive Gallic Gun versus Kamehameha beam struggle. To everyone's surprise, Goten narrowly defeats Trunks, but Trunks promises to kill Goten. Vegeta steps in the way, telling him to know when a battle is lost. Trunks tried to argue, but Vegeta firmly said that they would defeat Kakarot's family one day. He looked over at Gohan and Goku while saying this. Goku walks to Vegeta, sticking his hand out to him. He told him that he can return to Earth. It's still a home to him. Vegeta looks at the hand and what that invitation signifies. A return to normalcy. An end to the destruction. But he looks at Bulma, staring at him through tear-filled eyes. Then at Moro, inviting him with a waggling, cold finger. Vegeta slaps the hand away, thanking Kakarot but saying, "I have nothing left to prove. Not to Bulma, not to Trunks. Not even you, Kakarot. Farewell." darkness. But a voice screamed out from the crowd, yelling and asking why he thought he could simply leave again. Bulma begs everyone to help and defeat Vegeta so she can get her baby back. But Kid Trunks looked at Bulma up and down. He simply said that he didn't know who this woman was. Bulma was heartbroken, bursting into tears. It seemed Kid Trunks had chosen. Future Trunks tried to help his mother and apologize for failing her. Future Trunks tells her mother that he thinks little Trunks needs more time with his father. He's sure that eventually he will return home, but that for now, his younger self will be safe with Vegeta. Bulma curses at Vegeta and promises to defeat him one day. Goku hugged Bulma and promised her his family would do anything to help. He turned to the Kaioshin and told him that if it was okay with him, he'd like to train on his planet. After all, he's dead. Kaioshin agreed and told him that Gohan and Goten were welcome too. There was a special sword there that may be useful in their training. Vegeta and Goku stare each other down and smirked. Perfect. Their rematch would come soon enough. Vegeta noticed that Kid Trunks was still staring down Goten too. Bulma's cries were drowned out by Vegeta's ship departing, with the Kaioshin telling Goku that Vegeta and Moro are the greatest threat to the universe. They will need to prepare. Gohan turned to Trunks and asked what he would do. Future Trunks looked at the ground in sadness and told his mother that sadly he has been away for too long and it was finally time to go see future Bulma. I'm sorry, mother, but I have to return and help rebuild my future. I will train and find a way to bring myself back. But for now, this is goodbye. Bulma simply stayed quiet and left for Capsule Corp. Back at Vegeta's ship, Moro punched a wall in anger. Vegeta had never seen him lose his cool like that, but Moro was upset about having lost his power defending himself against the Grand Kai. He couldn't believe he got ganged up like that. Vegeta agreed, if only they had the Dragon Balls. That's when Moro perked up. That's right, the Dragon Balls. Moro looked at Vegeta with a smirk.
Vegeta, it is time you knew about what is out there. The other universe.
Vegeta's team's hardest challenge was finding their way to Universe 6. They savaged a large part of a planet full of hedgehog-like people, where 7-3 absorbed their power, the ability to create portals. With that, they were able to make their way to the Twin Universe, in search of the second half of the Super Dragon Balls. But without the location of the Dragon Balls or a Dragon Radar, they would have a difficult time locating them. Vegeta knew only one person was smart enough to create a radar like that, and that would be Bulma, but she would never cooperate with him. He didn't want to do this, but he didn't have much of a choice, as he used his instant transmission he learned years ago from Yardrat to go to Capsule Corp, get the Dragon Radar, and teleport away. Bulma had been using the radar to collect the Dragon Balls for her next birthday, and had recently collected them all. She was disappointed to have lost the radar, being forced to create a new one. Moro grabbed 7-3's shoulder, pouring his magic into the android, expanding his senses until 7-3 felt it. Another universe very similar to his own. And with that, he opened a portal as Vegeta's crew arrived to Universe 6. But before we continue, only around 30% of you guys are subscribed. So don't forget to leave a like and click the bell icon so you never miss the best Dragon Ball what-ifs out there. And if you want to be a super fan, then consider becoming a Patreon. Anyways, let's continue with the story. Vegeta's crew travels around Universe 6, as 7-3 and some of the other crew attempts to update the radar to locate the Super Dragon Balls. It took a while, so they searched many places in the meantime, finding Namek and other planets like that. Moro took note of them all. To their surprise, it seems like the Super Dragon Balls were mostly together already, with only a couple missing. The team heads that way to be surprised by the planet-sized Dragon Balls. They seemed abandoned, so they claim them for themselves as they continue searching for the remaining ones. They found one more near a planet that reminded Vegeta a lot of one he had only heard about, Planet Sadala. Could it be that Saiyans remained in this universe? Vegeta would answer that question in time, but first, they had Moro's magic move the Dragon Balls over to the rest. As they discussed their next move, they heard a voice from behind.
Well, well, well. Looks like we found our thieves, Vados. Hand over the Dragon Balls, or I'll erase you.
Vegeta isn't intimidated, though Moro's eyes widened and told Vegeta to back off. Doesn't he know who he is? He is the god of destruction of Universe 6. Champa. The power he possessed was enticing, but he knew that he couldn't attack the cat. If he tried to absorb his power now, he would surely be killed. Vegeta remembers Beerus. This must be his twin. He was terrified of him as a kid, but he has grown a lot stronger than before. He has nothing to lose. He only asks Champa for what the hell he wanted the Dragon Balls for. Champa doesn't answer, instead teleporting before Vegeta and pointing his hand out. Vegeta, in response, slams his head against Champa. Sure, he would have been afraid of Beerus, but this was just some cat, and he didn't have anything worth protecting anymore. If he was gonna go, he was gonna go with a bang. Champa was insulted, saying that if it's a fight he wants, it's a fight he'll get. The two clash over the 6 Dragon Balls, and Vegeta quickly realizes how outmatched he is. Some of his men start to retreat. It was over, as Champa finally yelled out a Hakai. But when Vegeta closed his eyes welcoming death, Moro used a bit of his power to teleport him away, right next to him. Champa was angry by this altercation, and rushed in the way of Moro as well. Moro smirked. Maybe he should do it now. Maybe he should take all of Vegeta's power and get away. But as he thought this, Vados appeared in front of Champa. Vados says that it was very impressive for a normal Saiyan to challenge a god of destruction like that, and that she's surprised that Champa didn't kill him right away. He wondered if perhaps he too thought that this could be the so-and-so god Beerus talked about so long ago. Upset, Champa asks for clarification, but Vados refuses to elaborate. Champa begins to get upset, but realizes that this must mean this Saiyan is important. If he can draw out that power, then he will be the best bet against Beerus' universes. Vados winks at Vegeta with a smirk. The Saiyan had no idea what she was talking about. A god of some kind? That was definitely not him. Or was it? Champa scoffs, telling Vados that if she doesn't want to tell him, he's just gonna assign her to train Vegeta. Vados is actually delighted, making Champa facepalm. Vegeta's excited to train with them, asking to take Trunks with him as well. In the meantime, Moro will search for the final Super Dragon Ball, only allowing this if it meant eventually he will get more power. If he allowed Vegeta to get stronger, eventually he, too, will be the strongest around. That's when we skip ahead to Universe 7, where Beerus has come to Earth to challenge the Super Saiyan God after fighting Goku in Otherworld. Remember, Goku's dead in this story still, so Gohan is the main Saiyan on Earth. Without Vegeta, it seemed like Earth really was doomed, but from King Kai's planet, Goku suggests to use the Dragon Balls and asks Shenron about the Super Saiyan God. This party is a lot more low-key than the one in the anime and the movie, since Bulma isn't exactly the same person as there. Either way, Shenron explains the God ritual, needing 5 Saiyans to pour their power into another. They've got 2, Gohan and Goten. Whis says that he can get the other one they met in Otherworld, and Videl reveals she's pregnant. Even so, they still need 2 more Saiyans. Goten goes up to Beerus, talking about how they fought 2 other Saiyans not too long ago, Vegeta and Trunks. Gohan tries to pull Goten back, and Bulma says that there's no way they're going to help with the ritual, nor did she want them there, but Beerus is having none of it, telling Whis to find those 2 Saiyans. He searches and searches through planets that are inhabited, meaning no Vampa, but nothing comes out of it until...
Well, if it isn't my dear brother. Looking for a Super Saiyan God, are ya? Well, I've got one for you right here, Beerus.
Everyone was terrified to see Champa. What was this? A god of destruction bargain sale? Vegeta walks in from behind Champa, smirking at Goku and the others, declaring himself to have ascended beyond Super Saiyan 3. Champa didn't realize he already knew these people. Was he originally from Universe 7? It didn't matter. Clearly, their universe is so bad that he deserted. Beerus asked his brother what the hell he's doing there, and Champa reveals that he's been watching him since he woke up again, just to prove which universe was better. He is quite sad he doesn't have an Earth of his own, so he wonders if there's a way for him to get one, specifically this one. But before then, why not show off the power of Super Saiyan God? Vegeta smirks, stepping towards Beerus as his crimson aura burst open. His training with Vados had paid off. Bulma can't stand to watch Vegeta, but she catches glimpses of little kid Trunks behind Vados staring at her. She waves with a sad smile, but Trunks tries to pretend as if he doesn't look at her. Goten too had been staring down at Trunks. Goku and Gohan are both extremely impressed by the battle. They had both developed their own forms since the challenges against Majin Buu, but this was leaps ahead. Beerus is really impressed by this power. It's beyond what Goku showed off in the movie, even if slightly. After all, this Vegeta has been training with an angel for a bit now. It looks like Beerus is still going to win, however, as they both rise up to the sky, but Vegeta still can't control the power of the Super Saiyan God quite yet, and he's running out of time. He knows it, but unlike Goku, when he drops out of God for a second, he doesn't hear any voices. He's alone. Not even Moro, 7-3, or anyone else. All he sees is little Trunks looking at him with sad eyes. He realizes that everyone who had supported him was no longer rooting for him. Had he made a mistake? The anger he felt now because of this revelation pushes him forward, and unlike Goku, who was pushed on by love from his friends, the Super Saiyan God is reawakened by the hurt he feels. The righteous anger of the Super Saiyan God. Vegeta's power pushed him to punch Beerus across the face, pointing his hand out to create a flaming Big Bang attack. Crashed into the water below as the Big Bang spread through the cracks of the earth. Beerus opened his aura to dissipate the water as he looked up at Vegeta with a smirk. He needed to get himself one of those Super Saiyan gods. He thought back at the other Saiyans. Maybe one of them could be fun to play around with. Beerus is still impressed by Vegeta, telling him that if he had been from his universe, then perhaps he would have spared Earth. As they both return to the surface, Beerus begins to prepare a powerful energy ball, with Goku, Gohan, and the others stepping forward to defend Earth, but Vegeta knows they wouldn't be able to stand against him. Champa argues that he wants Earth for himself, telling Beerus not to destroy it, but this only angers his brother even more, giving him more of a reason to do so. Vegeta, however, steps in the way, telling him that if he wants a Super Saiyan God of his own, then Goku is the best choice. He glances over at the other Saiyan, saying that he's the only one to ever give him a true challenge, and he wants to fight him again. Whis says that he can revive him no problem. Goku can't believe that Vegeta did this. Was he mocking him? Or perhaps it was something else? As the Universe 6 team is about to leave, Champa challenges Universe 7 to the tournament, though it will take some time to prepare. Before they return to Universe 6, Vegeta approaches Bulma, not saying a word, but nodding at her. Trunks, on the other hand, says that he's glad to see her again. Bulma bursts into tears, hugging Trunks. He doesn't quite hug back though. Vegeta takes Trunks away as he says,
Take care of yourself, Bulma.
the lights of the Angel flash on as they're taken away to continue on training. But we switch back to Universe 6 now, with Moro having trouble finding the final Super Dragon Ball. Champa says that they're trying to figure out where it is. But first, he needs the Super Dragon Balls for the tournament. If Universe 6 wins, then Moro will not only get the location for the final Super Dragon Ball, but the wish as well. Moro has no other option. They can't find the final Dragon Ball, so he accepts, banking everything on Vegeta winning. No pressure. Though Vegeta is not involved with Resurrection F at first, it's clear that Goku isn't advancing as quickly as he was in the original story. Without Vegeta, they don't push each other as much. Vegeta only has an advantage because he's been training with an angel for such a long time. So once the time comes to battle Frieza, Frieza actually manages to take down Goku. Gohan joins in, but he too fails against the Tyrant. Frieza stands above both Goku and Gohan, pointing a blast down to Earth. It seems like he's going to destroy it and kill both of the Saiyans. But Whis turns back time just as it's about to explode, telling all the Z Fighters that if they want their planet to survive, they need to help the Saiyans out, and maybe even accept help from another one. Bulma once again refuses, but as Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, and the kids fire blast to get him away from them, Bulma finally accepted that they may need some help, as Whis finally asks if Vegeta can come play to Vados, so the Z Fighters have to keep fighting until then. Vados only complies when Whis reminds her that he is originally from Universe 7 after all. Champa tries to argue, but Vegeta says that he does want to be involved. If that is who he thinks he is, that he wants to kick Frieza's ass. Once he finally arrives, Goku and Gohan hate that they have to ask for help. It is at this moment that Gohan realizes that he needs to take training seriously. He doesn't want to have to ask for help from Vegeta ever again, and if it pushes his father forward more, past the need of Vegeta, then he will gladly train. But as Vegeta stepped forward to face Frieza, the Emperor smiled. He really wanted to fight Vegeta, and was disappointed to find he wasn't there. Vegeta fought Frieza for a little bit, gauging his power, until realizing that his training could be enough. He let Frieza attack him in such a way that it seemed like Vegeta was going to lose and make everyone think that the world was going to explode. But as he did this, Vegeta burst into Super Saiyan Blue, pushed Frieza back, stepped over his tail to keep him from running away, and told him that one of the first people to betray his trust was Frieza when he destroyed Planet Vegeta. And with that, Vegeta annihilated Frieza. The prince turned back to look at everyone. With a smile, Goku cursed, Of course, Vegeta was ahead of him still. He'd been training with Vados for so long, he managed to reach a power Goku only thought was possible. That Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Vados told Whis that he'd better train those two, otherwise they don't stand a chance. Whis said that he'd take his sister's advice. As Vados and Vegeta left, Trunks waved his mother goodbye. It seemed to her like part of him wanted to stay, but she couldn't say anything in time. Goku punched the ground. He needed to train and get stronger. Gohan smiled at him, giving him a hand up and promising his father to train even harder than before. They would surpass Vegeta. Goku nodded, and Gohan asked if he had a plan. Goku looked at his fist, thinking of King Kai and saying, "Of course, it's that simple." But back in Universe 6, Vegeta's encounter with them reminded him of the tournament between Universe 6 and 7, asking Champa if he had any idea who he would choose for it. And Champa says that he knows a few people, some Saiyans in fact. That reminds Vegeta he needs to go to Planet Sadala. He wants to personally choose the warriors for his team, requesting that Champa takes him to Planet Sadala. The Universe 6 tournament team begins to take shape. Next, what if Vegeta was betrayed? Vegeta continues to train, inviting Trunks and 7-3 to do so as well, even asking about the Universe 6 Saiyans. Champa reveals that they're still around, and allows Vegeta to visit Planet Sadala prior to the tournament. He isn't exactly welcomed, as a pickpocketer steals some of his stuff. He followed her to a tavern, where her leader, Caulifla, said that if he wanted his stuff back, he'd have to beat her in a fight. Vegeta did just that, very easily. Eventually, Saiyans gathered around him as he showed off Super Saiyan, and slowly over time, he began to train with some of them, mainly Caulifla, Kale, and Kaba. Kaba had been his guide when he first arrived in Sadala, and got scolded by Vegeta for not even knowing what a Super Saiyan was. Eventually, he trains them to unlock Super Saiyan, though that Kale girl has a long way to go before she can be trusted with her power. Vegeta was able to knock her out, but has no idea how to control her. He realizes that he's getting close to Kaba and those girls' Saiyans. It's the first time he's felt accepted by anyone. Even Moro, a man he trusted, was anything beyond someone he worked with. But before we continue, only around 30% of you guys are subscribed. So don't forget to leave a like and click the bell icon so you never miss the best Dragon Ball what-ifs out there. And if you want to be a super fan, then consider becoming a Patreon. Anyways, let's continue with the story. Vegeta finds out that Frost will be part of the Universe 6 team, and he refuses to work with them. He doesn't trust anyone who could be the Universe 6 version of Frieza. He didn't believe he was strong enough, and above that, he thought either Kale or Caulifla would be better contenders. Frost challenges Vegeta to a fight, and he attempts to use his needle filled with poison, but 7-3 sees this coming and warns Vegeta, who ultimately defeats Frost, not allowing him to even transform into his final form. He was very tired of him. Finally, Champa agreed to have Caulifla be the fighter. Thus, the teams are set. The Universe 6 team is composed of 7-3, Vegeta, Kaba, Hit, and Caulifla. The Beerus team is Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, 17, and Monaka. Gohan knew about the tournament a long time before it happened, so he was able to plan ahead of time. And he's been training with Goku for a bit. Goku originally wanted to get 18, but she said she was not interested since there was no cash prize. So she instead suggested 17, and Goku recruited him similarly to the Tournament of Power. So the fights begin. First up is Gohan versus Kaba, two Saiyans who follow a legacy. Goku looked at Vegeta when they started the fight. It was time to see whose student was the strongest. Kaba fared well enough, but Gohan had a trick up his sleeve, Super Saiyan God. He hadn't unlocked Blue just yet, but God was more than enough to deal with Kaba. His next challenge was against 7-3. 7-3 actually surprises Gohan. His copy abilities are extremely impressive, and he absorbs his power, firing back a Masenko, which resulted in a beam clash. But 7-3 was smart, and as soon as it looked like Gohan was going to win, he opened a portal in front of himself, going directly towards Gohan. Gohan blasted himself out of the arena. Piccolo was the next fighter, but didn't fare much better. 7-3 already knew most of his moves, thanks to the absorption and fight against Gohan. So when he multiplied himself to use the special beam cannon, 7-3 knew how to counter it, even using his own special beam cannon, which surprised Piccolo. He would have to ask Gohan if he'd been practicing in secret. Android 17 versus 7-3 was the next battle. 17 had been analyzing the fight against 7-3 for a while, and he had a plan set in place. He had to avoid using any blasts. 7-3 could easily handle those. When 7-3 tried to absorb absorb 17's power, the cyborg simply opened his android barrier, keeping him away, eventually expanding it so 7-3 was knocked out of the arena, but the air went silent once Hit entered the ring. He was far different from many of the other fighters, and no one knew much about him. 17 opened his android barrier, but it wasn't fast enough. Hit was already within the bubble, punching him in the stomach and throwing him out of bounds. But Goku had been watching the fight carefully, and thanks to some insight from Jacko, he realizes what's going on. He was using some form of time skipping. Goku was able to predict the moves that Hit was going to use, fighting meticulously against him and utilizing Blue Kaioken. Goku was completely driven by the desire to fight Vegeta again, and although he enjoyed the fight against Hit and hoped to fight him again, he wasn't going to allow him to get in the way. Thanks to the training with Gohan and the extra hard training with Whis, Goku actually wins this match, utilizing a God Bind to keep Hit in place right as he was going to use his time skip, taking the chance to knee him in the stomach, grab him by the legs, and spin him out of the arena. He landed not far from Vegeta, and as the smoke cleared, the two Saiyans found themselves staring at each other with a smile. Caulifla walks up to the ring slowly. Vegeta whispers in her ear, telling her that Kakarot and her are very similar, so he expects a good match. Above that, he wants to see just how much he's improved. Caulifla smiles and gives Vegeta a thumbs up as she walks into the ring.
I'm gonna take you down and get even stronger!
That's the spirit! Come at me with everything you've got!
Aw, hell yeah! There's the blue form! That's just what I wanted to see!
This is Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Who knows? You might be able to pull this off someday.
Goku is already a little tired and hurt, but he is impressed by this girl. Her Super Saiyan 2 is incredible, much stronger than what he expected it to be. She had a lot of spirit. No wonder Vegeta was drawn to teach her. Even Goku himself taught him a little while fighting, and he told her that whatever Vegeta is teaching her is working, but maybe she should get her morals from someone else. Goku dodged and weaved out of the way of a lot of punches, trying to regain his stamina and power before getting ready for the real deal, the fight against Vegeta. Goku told her that she's always a little aloof and has her defenses wide open, proving a point by Goku punching her in the stomach and knocking her towards Vegeta, saying, "Sorry about that. I saw an opening that seemed to scream out attack, so I did." Vegeta catches Caulifla just as she was about to hit him, placing her calmly down, telling her that she did well, and that he'll visit Planet Sodala soon, alongside Moro and the rest, to keep teaching them. But for now, he had other matters to attend to. This was the moment they were waiting for. Before the announcer got even a chance to say, "Begin," Goku and Vegeta were already clashing, the ground beneath them caving in, to the point where the arena was no more. If one of them touched the ground, they would surely be disqualified, but it didn't matter. They weren't leaving the sky. Every punch connected perfectly. Neither was trying to dodge. It seemed like they were really trying to test just how strong the other one had gotten. Eventually, the fight evolved, as they got used to each other's movements again. Goku couldn't help but smile at Vegeta. Even though he hated his guts, he was still his greatest rival, and part of him believed that he could return. But the fight wasn't meant to last forever, though to the spectators it sure seemed that way. Vegeta grabbed Goku by the legs and threw him to the ground, but Goku caught himself inches from a ring out. They were in a familiar situation now, as each of them cupped their hands, Goku creating a Kamehameha, and Vegeta a Gallic Gun. They fired at each other, remembering their original battle, but this time Vegeta was sure he was going to win. He was finally going to defeat Kakarot once and for all. But as the blast was mere seconds away from touching Goku, the Saiyan race on Earth screamed out, "Kaioken times 20!" Vegeta felt a cold sweat on his back as the blast was returned to him and he fell from the sky, defeated by Goku. How? I've given everything to get stronger. My family, my friends, my pride. That Kakarot is still above me. Vegeta remembered back to the time he fought Beerus, and how when he lost the god power, he saw no one. Is that it? Was what I gave up what Kakarot has above me? Vegeta turned his head to look at Bulma, who instantly looked away, while Goten, Gohan, and Chi-Chi hugged Goku. Vegeta punched the ground, creating a small crater. It was over. At the end of the day, Monaca does not get to fight. Not that there was an arena to fight in anymore. Champa was upset at Vegeta, and honestly thought about kicking him out of the universe, or maybe even killing him. But at the end, Goku approached Vegeta after the tournament, telling him that he's always been his friend and that he misses him, telling him that after the battles against Frieza and even Cell, Goku considered Vegeta a friend, an ally, and a rival, and that he hoped that they could be that again. He struggled with asking him for help during the battles against Golden Frieza, but now he realizes that that power is incredible and that they could help each other with it, as long as Earth is safe and Vegeta comes back to them. For a second there, Vegeta actually considers it, but he looks at the ground and walks away from Goku. Just like in the original, Zeno appeared, becoming friends with Goku and talking about the possibility of a multiversal tournament. Vegeta and Goku looked at each other. That would be a perfect chance to battle again. Vegeta would return to planet Sadala to continue teaching the Saiyans there. It was a lot of fun. It was one of the few things he actually seemed to enjoy, but Trunks was a little upset. It was like he cared more about them than his own kid, but he could feel something beyond that. A darkness within Vegeta. He wasn't sure if he actually cared about these Saiyans, or about teaching them, or was he just going through the motions. Either way, Caulifla and him got along, almost like an aunt, and she did tell him once or twice that that Moro guy just rubbed her the wrong way. Either way, Vegeta and Trunks would return to planet Champa in order to continue their own training. The Super Dragon Balls were spread through the universe, as Beerus wished for a new Earth to be given to Universe 6. Vegeta turned to look at Moro. He seemed very upset. He had a dark aura around him. Moro hates Vegeta for losing. He was really counting on him, and now he realizes he's just weak. Now that the Dragon Balls are all gone, Moro thinks about it. He has time, he can end it here and now. He can kill Vegeta, he can take everything he has. After all, everything Vegeta has ever done has been because of Moro.
Well, Vegeta, next time we will guarantee our victory, won't we? We just need to keep on training, or I'll simply destroy you.
Moro snapped out of it. For a second there, he almost made a stupid mistake in front of the God of Destruction. He can't be found out just yet. Plus, Vegeta has been growing so fast recently, it would be foolish not to watch his progress even further. Soon enough, he would kill him. Soon enough, he would take his power. But it wasn't all for himself. At the end of the day, he would kill Kakarot too, in honor of Vegeta, and take his power. Those stupid Saiyans would live on in him, as he rules over the universe. But unknown to Vegeta, a darkness greater than any other was surging in a different timeline, as future Trunks, the one who had spent so many years going after Vegeta and trying to get him to return, comes face to face with his father once more. Trunks couldn't believe it. He really thought that Vegeta could change. He really thought that he could be turned good. But the Vegeta that stood before him now was worse than the one he met. Was this ultimately what Vegeta's path would lead down? Had he followed him all the way to the future just to kill him? Part of Trunks believed that this wasn't his father, that this Vegeta Black was something else. The new story begins with future Trunks talking to Bulma, who says that the Vegeta she knew was a good man, even if he wouldn't admit it. Neither the man Trunks met nor their new enemy is the real Vegeta. She looks at Trunks directly in the eyes, saying that she always believed in Vegeta. Sadly, just like in the original timeline, future Bulma is killed by a mysterious being as Trunks makes it to the present. We switch perspectives to Vegeta's training at Champa's, which proved to be successful as he slowly pushes through, and it seems like he was achieving a stage beyond even Super Saiyan Blue. He anxiously awaits the next time he gets to battle against Goku. Surprisingly enough, it wouldn't be long before he does just that. That's when Goku appears at Champa's planet along with Beerus and Whis. He confronts Vegeta angrily, challenging him to a battle. Vegeta agreed to it, clearly showing himself to finally be ahead of Goku. The battle begins but is quickly interrupted as Champa wonders what the hell prompted this visit. Goku asks Vegeta why he did what he did to Bulma. Vegeta says that he hasn't done anything in years. Goku retaliates by saying that he killed Bulma. What? Bulma's dead? Goku realizes that there's something wrong here, as they both power down, and Goku explains that future Trunks has arrived back to the present, begging for their help. Vegeta had appeared in the future and killed his Bulma. Vegeta promises Goku that it wasn't him, and he will get to the bottom of this. Vegeta asks Goku to allow him to help. The other Saiyan is doubtful but allows it, as Vegeta asks permission from Champa to once again visit Universe 7. Champa allows it, but only if Vegeta promises not to waste all his energy playing with these simpletons. Thus, Vegeta and Trunks are taken to Universe 7. Vegeta can't look at future Trunks in the eyes once he arrives. It's clear there's a lot of tension between them. Bulma didn't even show up to see them off. Future Trunks asks why they're bringing the little kid, and Vegeta says that this is all training for him. Once they arrive to the future, the mysterious being announces himself as Vegeta Black. It was clear to the real Vegeta that this really was him. He looked exactly like himself, and the dark aura around him was one he had felt for a while now. Vegeta Black had already faced off against Goku once, when future Trunks first arrived to the past. But Vegeta didn't care about any of the backstory. He simply rushed in to attack Vegeta Black, demanding him to explain just who he really was. Vegeta has the upper hand for a while, as Super Saiyan Blue does well against him. Vegeta knew it. No copy of him could ever stand up against him. That's when Zamasu blasts at Vegeta, getting him off of Black. Zamasu explains that they saw the fight at the Universe 6 tournament, and that though Goku won, they were more interested in the darkness and potential within Vegeta. He was everything they hated about humanity. The selfishness, the ego. It was the perfect symbol to destroy them all. So that was their plan, huh? Destroy all humans? All mortals? Vegeta didn't want to believe that he was the true representation of that. But little kid Trunks looked at him, and then back at Black. There was something very similar between the two, beyond just looking like Vegeta. Kid Trunks, in his heart, knew that he was a good person, but he couldn't see his father the same way anymore, after everything they've been through. Either way, Vegeta promises to defeat Black and Zamasu, and as Vegeta announces this, Trunks wonders if he too would be capable of killing his mother. Vegeta Black reveals his Super Saiyan Rose form, which Goku and Vegeta don't stand a chance against, even as Super Saiyan Blues. Zamasu's support is just too much for them to handle. That's when Vegeta finally reveals that there is something that he had been working on ever since he saw the Kaioken used against him. This was an evolution beyond Super Saiyan Blue, as Vegeta's muscle mass increased and the blue in his aura darkened. Vegeta truly had improved. Evolution Vegeta and Rose Vegeta Black had a hard-fought battle against each other. Black's sword slashes really hurt Vegeta. They were unpredictable, but every time Evolution Vegeta punched Rose, he got his wind completely punched out of him. He was the strongest being he had ever fought. No one mortal should have this power. Black Vegeta reveals that indeed he was the one to kill future Bulma, meaning the last person she saw was the one she loved. The one who always believed in him. He saw her hope leave her eyes. Vegeta goes cold for a second. He doesn't know what to think about this. Future Bulma always believed in him? That's when Trunks speaks up, saying, "No, her hope never faltered. Not in my father, not in me, not in any of us. And for that, in her honor, we'll kill you, Zamasu." With those words, Vegeta's aura expands out, just for a split second, into a purple one. His hair too, changing color, and it looked to Trunks as if his eyebrows were gone, but it was just for a second, just enough to punch Black in the face, sending him into Zamasu, where a huge explosion followed. But Vegeta quickly fell to his knees. That power was too much, whatever that was. But Zamasu and Black explode in power. It wasn't enough to keep them back, and it's clear that they need to retreat. They can't defeat Zamasu if he's immortal. Trunks tells everyone to go, figure out a way to defeat him, and then return. Vegeta doesn't want to leave Future Trunks after what just happened, but Future Trunks doesn't look at Vegeta in the eyes, simply saying, "I'll be fine, leave. Just figure out a way to defeat him. I gotta say, it's satisfying to do this. Take this, Galactic Gun!" Trunks fires the purple beam at the man who looked like his father. The blast engulfed Black. It was the most incredible Galactic Gun Vegeta had ever seen in his life. Surprisingly, he was truly proud of Trunks, retreating into the time machine and returning to the past. Upon the return, Kid Trunks is told to stay there. Vegeta had it wrong. He shouldn't have taken taken the kid there. He seemed very upset about what Zamasu had said. Meanwhile, Goku tells Beerus about Zamasu, making quick work of the present timeline version of him. Bulma is delighted to have Trunks, as he runs directly to her and hugs her leg. She walks inside with him, not saying a word to Vegeta. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Goku discuss what to do. Vegeta says they have to stop him because of what he's doing as him. Goku argues it's not far off from what he did to them. The two of them clash heads over this, but Bulma yells at them to stop, that she doesn't care anymore. They just need to find a way to contain him. That's when Goku remembers the Mafuba, returning to the future. However, just like in the original story, it doesn't work because of the lack of the seal. But Gowazu and Shin appear in the future, having followed Goku and Vegeta with their time travel rings, saying that they need to find a way to end this all, handing them the Potara earrings. Goku and Vegeta look at each other in disgust. No way, they're not doing that ever again. But as Trunks continues to battle Black, and eventually they fuse into Fuse Zamasu, it's clear they don't have a choice. Fusing into Vegito. This is an extremely powerful fusion, even using Super Saiyan Blue evolution Kaioken. But he is a little sloppier. Neither fighter has evolved their techniques nearly as much as in the original story because they haven't had the time to train with each other. Even so, Vegito kicks Zamasu to the curb, not giving him a second to talk. In the final moments, Vegito lifts his arms up to the sky, a huge blade created from it. As Vegito said, "Everyone, share your energy with me." Trunks followed suit, telling everyone to give energy to Vegito, as Vegito's Spirit Excalibur was formed. Zamasu tried to fight him off, but it seemed like none of the attacks did anything to him until Vegito simply pushed the sword down, slicing clean through the middle of Zamasu. One half being Zamasu, and the other, Vegeta. As Vegito defuses, Zamasu continues to laugh as he begins to disintegrate. The Vegeta half of the fusion says that he represents his own future. The path Vegeta is going down is the exact same path Zamasu took. A path where he kills the only person he cared about. A path where Bulma dies by his hands. His eyes shift to Goku and Trunks for a second as he says, "A path where your own son could help kill you." Zamasu laughs as his faces fill the sky. It was clear that the universe was done for. Goku had no choice but to call forth Zeno, who destroyed the universe, and returned with them to the past. Everyone is quiet once they return. Trunks is rightfully upset about what happened. What was this for? Did it mean anything? Vegeta asked himself a similar question, but even more so affected by what Zamasu said. Another thing that stuck in Vegeta's mind was that power he felt. It was only for a split moment, but it reminded him quite a bit of the power that Champa nearly used on him. He had been trying to get there for a long time now. He knew there was techniques and powers that Vados and Champa were trying to teach him, but he wasn't quite getting there. Was that it? Had he done it? He'll have to capitalize on it. But for now, he needs to return to Universe 6. He wants to leave immediately, yelling at Kid Trunks to come along, but Kid Trunks remains behind Bulma. He doesn't want to leave. Seeing Vegeta black in that way affected him deeply. He wants to stay with his mother. Vegeta's heart breaks, staring at him and Bulma, then at future Trunks and Goku. This was the one final betrayal, but he can't argue. Maybe Zamasu was right. Maybe it was better if he wasn't anywhere near them. Without saying, he simply called on Vados, who took him back to Universe 6. As Vegeta leaves, Whis turns to Trunks, saying that he can't stay there. He needs to be found a new home. But Trunks pleads with Whis, saying that he needs to do something. Keep a promise to his mother. He needs to bring back his father. He has no other home to return to now. He needs to at least do this. But Kid Trunks speaks up, saying that he doesn't believe they can do this. Future Trunks hasn't seen him the way he has. The life drained from his eyes, all hope lost. When he first went with Vegeta, at the start at least it felt like they were doing something that actually meant something to him. It seemed like he was just going through the motions, doing as what Champa or Moro said. But Future Trunks insists on it, looking at his time machine and placing his hand on the hope written on the side. "No, I know we can do this. There's always hope. Because she believed in him. Because I believe in him." Whis accepts this, and temporarily extends the time he can stay for now. Next, Dragon Ball Super. Vegeta returned to train with Moro for a few months before being contacted by Moro, saying that the Super Dragon Balls were active once more and that it was time to look for them once more. Slowly, they collected them, thanks to the Dragon Radar which Vegeta still had, but there was one problem. 7-3 could only use his copied powers for an hour and a half, but Vegeta had a plan. He asked Vados to take him to a specific planet, the planet of the hedgehog-like people. Once there, they threatened to slaughter the planet, unless one of them decided to join their cause. They were confused. This was a fairly easy trade-off, all things considered, and thus one of their warriors was chosen to go with Vegeta, Moro, and the rest. Vados asked what that was about, and Vegeta just said that they needed a form of transportation easier than asking Vados around. Vados dismissed it, though she was a little suspicious. Vegeta returned to Moro, leaving Vados behind. Now 7-3 could absorb the power of the hedgehog-like being anytime he wanted, and thus, slowly, they began collecting the Super Dragon Balls. Vados questions Vegeta on what exactly he's planning, and Vegeta simply says that it's none of our business really, but soon enough he'll be the most powerful being in the universe. Vados is worried and curious. Above all, she thinks whatever's gonna happen could be quite fun. Cheekily, Vados says that, he won't be able to make a wish if he doesn't know the language of the gods. Vegeta cursed under his breath. He knew it. There had to be a catch. These aren't too dissimilar from the Namekian Dragon Balls, are there? You need to speak its language. Vados simply says, bingo. Champa overhears this and says that whatever Vegeta's planning is clearly nothing good, and he doesn't trust that Moro guy. But Vegeta says that their plan to become the strongest in the universe will only be beneficial to Champa. After all, his first order of business is to take care of Kakarot, putting Universe 6 above Universe 7 immediately. Wouldn't he want that? Champa thinks about it but still says no, until Vegeta offers to cook him the best meal in his life. And he does just that, impressing Champa and allowing Vegeta to ask one wish. The wish being, I wish to be the strongest mortal in the universes, in the language of the gods. Champa takes some time to remember, his god language being a bit rusty, but he does tell Vegeta. Vados asks if he's sure about this. Couldn't it be dangerous to give Vegeta such information, especially with Moro around? But Champa dismisses it between bites, saying that if anything bad happens, he'll just make Vegeta take care of it, and pay for any damages. So what if a few planets get blown up here and there? He'll just be doing his job for him. Vegeta, with that information, finally returns to Moro, just wanting to get this over with. And as soon as he arrives, Moro asks if he figured it out. Champa tells him and his men exactly how to do it, and Moro laughs, and patting Vegeta's back. He knew he could count on him. Following the awful battles against Vegeta Black and Zamasu, the real Vegeta returns to Universe 6, along with Vados. He feels lost, alone. His own son decided to stay with his mother instead. It was clear to him that he had been going through a path that he could no longer escape from. He exits Champa's planet for a bit, looking for Moro. He was the only person he really seemed to be able to rely on for a while. He always pushed him forward to get stronger, even when he failed him by not winning the tournament and obtaining the Super Dragon Balls. He appears before Moro, the last person he confides in, and Moro tells him that he's impressed by his power. He's clearly gotten extremely strong. Vegeta, who's accompanied by 7-3, thanks Moro for the compliment and asks how the hunt for the Super Dragon Balls is going. Moro shakes his head. He's tired of waiting, tired of failures. It's time to make their next move. Vegeta agrees and asks Moro, who effectively had been his master, what their next step is. Moro had finished collecting the Super Dragon Balls after Vegeta returned to train with Champa some more. Vegeta was surprised. He didn't expect them to collect them so quickly, but was excited to continue with the plan. And for the first time in a while, he actually smiled. This was their chance. They would be able to take over the universe together, starting with Universe 6 and moving on to Universe 7 and the others. Vegeta excitedly started to walk towards Moro and asked what he was waiting for. It's time for them to make the wish, to rule together. But Moro stopped him dead in his tracks and shook his finger on his face. No, that's not what's going on here. The disappointment at the Universe 6 tournament and whatever the hell was going on with Vegeta Black, the possibility of him killing everyone was something that he could not tolerate. He turned back as Yuzun summoned the dragon, speaking the language of the gods, which Champa had informed him on. Following the Universe 6 tournament, Moro wished to be the strongest mortal. He felt his power surge, stronger than Goku, Vegeta, and those he doesn't even know about just yet. He was tired of waiting for Vegeta now, but he would still gladly take his power. Moro's mane grew, as he was informed that his lifespan would be cut, but Moro had a plan for that already. He would simply wish for eternal youth. As the Super Dragon Ball spread through the universes once more, Vegeta couldn't believe it. He tried to stop him and yell at him, but it was worthless. They were supposed to work together. Why had he betrayed him too? Yuzun laughed, telling him that he didn't really believe that Moro was on his side this whole time, right? None of them are loyal to him. Vegeta looked at 7-3, then back at Moro. Moro made Yuzun shut up by blasting him in his stomach. He didn't need any more allies anyways. And now, he would take Vegeta's power. Vegeta's eyes widened as Moro starts absorbing his energy, draining all of his power. Vegeta tries to fight back, but he's getting weaker and weaker by the second. He goes from Super Saiyan Blue evolution to regular blue, then God, then just to a simple Super Saiyan until his power is nearly completely drained. But 7-3 looks at both Moro and Vegeta. Vegeta had been a great captain for so long, but he was also loyal to Moro. He didn't know what to do, but he could see the hurt in Vegeta's eyes. Without even thinking about it, 7-3 steps in the way, opening a portal before Vegeta and shoving him in. The last thing Vegeta sees is Moro angrily screaming at 7-3 as he grabbed him by the head and absorbed him. 7-3 disappeared, but not before telling Vegeta to get away as the portal closed. Vegeta felt cold, even more alone than before. Where was he? This place was empty. He didn't know if this was Universe 6 or 7, but as he looked around, he could only see strange, spider-like creatures. Maybe this is what he needed. Maybe this is where he was meant to be. Alone, away from everyone. How could he have trusted Moro? Even the Grand Supreme Kai warned him against it. Pibara, all the Yardrats, Goku, all of them. They all told him to get away from him. But above them all, future Trunks, he had believed in him, and Vegeta had failed him. All those years he spent going after Vegeta and trying to return him, and those words he said to Moro before he left, promising Moro to get him away from Vegeta. How could he have been so blind? It's because he was power hungry. He knows that now, but it's too late. This is his destiny now. 7-3's last words ring in his ears. To take care of Kid Trunks. He knew that Kid Trunks had actually really liked 7-3. Not that it mattered now. Whatever Moro was doing, it surely would mean the end of Universe 6, and then the spread of him to other universes. And he was right. As Moro begins to destroy Universe 6, after absorbing 7-3, he creates portals to Namek, finding 2 Namekians there. They had fused themselves with the rest of the population, but they stood no chance against Moro, who absorbed their power. But he soon realized that there was no Dragon Balls there. It was clear to him then that Universe 7 would have to be his next plan of action, but he had one more place to visit before then. He opens one more portal, this time to planet Sadala, right in front of Caulifla, Kale, and Kaba, who had been training together. Kaba welcomes him, asking where Vegeta is, but Caulifla can sense it. The immense power, it feels like Vegeta, but it's not him. She pushes Kaba out of the way, but it's Kale the one to step forward. She can sense it too. All of them transform into Super Saiyans, with Kale showing off the fact that she can actually control it now. They all rush forward and fight Moro to the best of their abilities, but not only is their power being absorbed, but the power of the planet itself. Moro grabs Kaba and Caulifla by the face, saying,
You know, Vegeta really did always like you two. If I had allowed him to spend more time here, surely he would have realized what my plan was. But it's too late. He failed you, and you failed him.
As he said this, Kaba and Caulifla's arms dropped, done for. Kale was the only one left standing, and she exploded all of her ki to try and stop him, dying in the process. But as the smoke cleared, Moro just had one arm up, having absorbed all of that power. He laughs maniacally, opening a portal into Universe 7, Namek. As he leaves, he drops a single ki ball on planet Sadala, exploding as the portal closed. Vegeta is unaware of everything going on, but deep in his heart, he knows something is wrong. In the meantime, on Earth, Miras appears, along with the rest of the Galactic Patrol, taking Boo, Trunks, and Goku. Miros explains to everyone that Moro had been causing havoc across Universe 6, and is apparently now in Universe 7. Miros had hoped that with Vegeta around, Moro could be controlled, but that was clearly not the case. Now they needed the power of the Grand Supreme Kai once more. Goku and Trunks look at each other, asking Miros what happened to Vegeta. Miros says that according to their intel, Vegeta is no longer with him. It's more than likely that he has perished. From here on, some things happen as in the original canon, as Moro searches for the Namekian Dragon Balls, forcing one of the children there to wish for him to be granted eternal youth before killing him and the rest of the Namekian population. Miros leads Buu, Trunks, and Goku into Namek, telling them that he cannot fight, but he trusts them. Buu switches places with the Grand Supreme Kai, while Trunks and Goku do their best to fight, but it's clear that they don't stand a chance. This Moro is even more powerful than the one we met in his arc. He had absorbed so much power from Vegeta, 7-3, the Saiyans, and even more. No one stood a chance. It was clear to Miros that he needed to get them out of there, rescuing them, but it's too late for planet Namek. Once they return to the Galactic Patrol HQ, Miros tells them all that he doesn't know what to do, offering to train with Goku, but beyond that, he actually has no idea how they can defeat him. But Trunks has a plan. He still believes in his father, even to the behest of Goku and Miros. They're both convinced that he's dead, and if he's not dead, then he's definitely in cahoots with Moro. But Trunks pleads with Goku to search for his power somewhere out there. Miros too, they concentrate, and Goku finally sees it. It's there, very faint, but it's there. Goku and Trunks nod at each other. In the meantime, at the planet Vegeta sits, a man approaches him. Vegeta's on guard instantly, but with how weak he is, he can't stand a chance against him. He's surprised to see how powerful he is, but this man tells him to calm down. He's not going to hurt him. He hasn't seen anyone in so many years, and he asks how he got there. Vegeta says that he was cast away by the only person he trusted. The other person said that, according to his father, he had been cast away by someone they trusted as well, but he didn't know much about it. This man introduces himself as Broly, and Vegeta cocks an eyebrow. Broly? He must be a Saiyan. Broly nods. The two start to talk about the Saiyans, about how they both ended up there, and how lonely their life is. Broly had only ever spent time here with Ba and his father, Paragus, though he was always sad because Ba was no longer around. Vegeta understood. He thought it was silly and kind of stupid. This man was very simple, but surprisingly enough, he could relate to him. He says that it's just hopeless for them both now. But Broly shakes his head. No, of course not. Even if you don't count his father, they have each other now. Even if they're stuck here. Vegeta cocks an eyebrow. That smile. Broly actually had a smile similar to that of Goku. It reminded him of good old times. Vegeta finally asks Broly for a good spar, and Broly says that although he isn't the biggest fan of fighting, he does enjoy a good match. The two fight, and it's a great battle. Even if Vegeta's weak, he has incredible martial arts techniques that allow him to keep up with Broly. But the battle starts to shake the planet. This is the first time Vegeta had felt joy like this in a long time. But the battle starts to shake the planet. Paragus runs in, asking what's going on. That's when he sees Vegeta and yells at Broly that he's the reason they're stuck here. Vegeta says he doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, but Broly feels betrayed, looking at Vegeta and continuing the fight, this time not holding back. But Vegeta is still able to keep up, but thanks to the rest he had while talking to Broly, he's able to at least utilize Super Saiyan 2 and still keep up with Broly. Vegeta asks what the meaning of this is, and Paragus explains. Broly and himself had been cast away by King Vegeta long ago because he feared the power that Broly held. Vegeta realizes that since birth, his family had been betraying his own alliances since the start. His family lineage had been paved with blood. He had been given a chance to remedy this with Bulma, Trunks, and the others, but he refused and failed them. He stops the fight, de-transforming out of Super Saiyan. He apologizes to them both, and he promises to get them out of there, but that he no longer wants to fight. Paragus, seeing this as the only way they could possibly escape, accepts it, but he doesn't like it. He sees in Vegeta's eyes that he means the apology. That's when the sound of someone teleporting in is heard, as Goku and Trunks appear. Paragus and Broly ask who they are, and Goku says, "We're Vegeta's friends, and we're coming for him." They all introduce each other, and Goku is very happy to see Broly. He's clearly really strong and he wants to fight him one day, but there's more important things going on right now. As Paragus, Broly, and Goku talk, Trunks and Vegeta step away to discuss things. Vegeta says that he doesn't want to go with them. He wants to be alone. Whatever's going on, he doesn't want to be involved. But future Trunks says that the universe needs him. Goku and himself alone aren't enough to fight off Moro. Vegeta perks up. So it is Moro, isn't it? He knew it. He failed the universe. Now they were all doomed. Trunks could see the hope in Vegeta's eyes was no longer there. Completely vanished, just just as Kid Trunks had said. But Trunks reveals that future Bulma had told him something. That even after everything went down, future Bulma said that the man he met in the past was not the one she knew. The one she knew was a proud, mean man, but not a bad one. He was good and truly cared for her and for Trunks as he gave his life away to save them. Vegeta couldn't look at Trunks in the eyes. He had heard something like this before during the battles against Vegeta Black, and it pushed him forward, but he could no longer believe it. Trunks tries to bring Vegeta back to light, not by force like he did before, but with the love he has for him. I know there is good in you, father. That Moro guy hasn't drained it from you completely. That's why you never killed me. That's why you kept my younger self around. And that's why you made sure Earth remained safe.
That Gallic gun you fired was impressive. Your skills have evolved far past what I taught you. You're as powerful as I'd hoped you'd be.
Father, come with me. To our family.
You know, Kakarot once thought as you do. Tried to bring me back. Believed in me when no one else did. But this is who I am. Who we, the Saiyans, are.
I don't believe that. And I know you don't either. Listen to yourself. I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate and come back to us.
It is too late for me, son. Universe 6 is ruined. Moro has won.
Then, the person my mother knew is truly dead. I will go save them with Goku. You do as you wish. Trunks steps away, going back to Goku. Trunks shakes his head at him, and Goku looks at the ground in disappointment. But there's nothing else they can do. They're not gonna argue with him any longer. Maybe Broly. Broly shakes his head as well. He wants to stay with Vegeta. Trunks and Goku teleport away. Back to planet Earth, where the Z-Fighters are already in confrontation against Moro. Trunks, Goku, Gohan, and the others fight with the best they can. But it seems like every time one of them got close enough to fight and attack, Moro would just simply steal their power. Moro is winning. He has youth and 7-3. Goku's the only one that stands even a little bit of a chance. He trained for a little bit with Miras in the Room of Spirit and Time, and it was thanks to this that Goku unlocked Ultra Instinct. But this is a little bit less refined than the one he uses in the Moro arc. Remember, this takes place earlier, so this is more akin to the one he uses in the Tournament of Power. It's more unstable, and Goku can't keep it up for too long. Even so, just like in the original, Miras gives up his life to help Goku. But this has the consequence of Moro absorbing Miras' power and obtaining his own form of Ultra Instinct. It seems that the world is doomed. We cut to Kid Trunks and Bulma together. She is worried about the battles going on, but Kid Trunks begins to speak.
You know, Mom, Father wasn't always like this. When we first began our travels, he was righteous, even saving people from his own men who wanted to hurt them. My future self even said so, but that Moro guy, it was his fault. He changed him, and I became afraid. Do you think my future self is right? Do you think he's still in there somewhere?
Bulma looked at him quietly. She had known for a while now, but this confirmed it. She had made a grave mistake long ago when she turned him in. As Bulma sits there and thinks, Trunks realizes that even Goten is at the battles against Moro. Without a second thought, he looks at Bulma and tells her that he's going to fight alongside everyone else. They're gonna need as much help as possible. In his eyes, Bulma sees the determination she saw in his father before, though begrudgingly, she allowed Trunks to leave. As lava spews out from everywhere, people are dying through the globe as their energy is drained away. But even so, Goku, Trunks, and Gohan stand back to back, all together, even the younger ones, Kid Trunks and Kid Goten, fighting together, no longer enemies. They do whatever they can. Kid Trunks damned the world. He had trusted Moro, and now he could see that he had taken his friend. 7-3, he wanted to do what he could, and he rushed in alongside the rest. Goten, Kid Trunks, and Future Trunks in front of everyone. Kid Trunks blasted on Moro, while Future Trunks sliced at him, but both of them were stopped by an aura expansion that dropped them to the ground, all their power being drained away. Goku, Gohan, Goten, Piccolo, and the others trying to get him to stop, but Future Trunks and Kid Goten screamed in pain as their power was drained. Goku flanked Moro. If Goku couldn't save Vegeta, at the very least, he would save his sons, slamming him down onto the ground, then rushed behind as he fell, but Moro quickly turned to grab Goku by the face, absorbing his power. It seemed like all hope was lost, as Moro blasted at Gohan and Trunks away. But from behind, Moro felt something, a kick straight into a mountain. Goku panted, looking up to see a smirking Vegeta offering him a hand up. The prince had returned. In reality, some hours after Trunks left, Broly and Vegeta continued to talk, and Broly asked why he didn't want to help the others. Vegeta could feel the energy of future Trunks, Goku and the others being drained away by Moro. It would just be a matter of time before they perish. Even Goku's power didn't seem to be enough this time. Broly approached Vegeta, asking him what his plan was, and Vegeta just stayed quiet. Broly continued to say that he doesn't have friends. The only friend he ever had was Ba, and it was his father that caused him to be driven away. If that Trunks guy was Vegeta's kid, then perhaps helping him this one time was worth it. Vegeta felt immense guilt within. He knew he should help, but how? What could he do? Broly said he was going to do whatever he wanted to. He just wanted to help his new friend. This gave Vegeta an idea. Friend. He knew someone who could possibly help them. He grabbed both Paragus and Broly, teleporting over to planet Yardrat. He knew he had thought of it before. He kneeled before Pibara, but Pibara told him to stand up. He didn't need to kneel before him. He was just an old friend. Vegeta was there to finish his training. Previously, sometime before the Buu saga, he had arrived there with Moro and the others, and learned instant transmission, but he never finished the training. He never learned Force Spirit Fission. Pibara nodded and told him that he would gladly train him. It took a little bit of time, a couple of hours at least, but Vegeta learned it, and the other Yardrats helped Broly control his power, and chastised Paragus for using that electrocuting device. It didn't matter now though. They were here, fighting together. It was time to end things, once and for all. As Moro tried to get up, Broly simply jumped on him, severely hurting him, throwing him around. Vegeta patted Kid Trunks on the head and smiled at him, telling him that he'd done enough, and that he's thankful for everything, but now it's his battle. Vegeta tells Kid Trunks to get away from here, and Goku tells Goten to follow suit. The kids want to keep fighting, but they know they're completely outmatched. This is far too dangerous already. They rush away, back to Capsule Corp. But as Broly threw him, Moro stopped himself mid-air. Moro thanked Vegeta for bringing him such ample power supply, but it won't be enough to stop him now. But he is willing to give him a chance, as he's feeling generous. If Vegeta joins him now, he promises he won't kill him. Vegeta looks back and forth between Moro and future Trunks, finally, decidedly saying a definitive no. This ends here and now. Moro was angered and rushed at Vegeta, attempting to absorb his energy, but he quickly realized that it was of no use. He was simply not able to. What he didn't know was that Vegeta was stealing Moro's own power, basically canceling each other out. He had done it on Yardrat, learned Spirit Fission. Goku joined in the battle, as did Broly. This incredible team of 3 great Super Saiyans culminated in Moro being beaten down to the ground, but the monster blasted both Vegeta and Goku away, taking the chance to absorb Broly's ki. He was getting stronger and stronger by the second, and throws Broly to the side. Vegeta grabs Broly before he hits the ground. Goku and Vegeta nod at each other. They had to do this carefully, do it in sync. The two of them rushed together. Goku punched Moro across the face as Vegeta is sliced. They continued this for a while, with Moro not recognizing their pattern nor plan. Every time Moro avoided an attack, Vegeta took the chance to steal even more of Moro's ki. Moro finally began to slow down, but he was extremely dangerous. He expanded his aura to get them away again, rising up to the sky and firing one giant ball of ki. Vegeta stood tall, firing a final flash right back, but the energy ball was too strong and it began to push him down. Gohan was the first to jump forward and blast the Kamehameha by Vegeta's side. Then future Trunks, Goku, Broly, and the others. Gohan and Vegeta looked at each other and nodded with a smile. Future Trunks thanked his father for returning. They finally pushed the blast back, with Moro doing his best to defend himself, but ultimately being consumed by it, not being able to absorb all of it in time. The fighters knew it wasn't over, however. Goku turned to Vegeta, telling him that he's glad to have him back. Gohan too, saying that, though he was harsh on him in the past, Trunks insisted on having faith on him, and he trusted Trunks. Vegeta turned to his son, and for the first time, hugged him tightly. He told them all that he is going to need their help. There was a power he flashed into while fighting Vegeta Black, and has only recently been able to unlock it properly thanks to training with Pibara. It is hard to keep up, and he can't control it well. He will need them to defend him. Goku was very interested in this kind of power, and asked Vegeta if he had finally surpassed them again. Vegeta said that he has always been one step forward. Broly and the others rushed towards Moro, using everything in their arsenal to attack. Moro was beginning to struggle, but they still couldn't deal well with the power absorption. In the background, Vegeta pulled his arms back, charging his ki to the max and concentrating on the anger, the thirst to protect his friends and family, and even his ego, his pride. He was struggling a little bit, but the sound of his friends falling made his heart beat faster. First future Trunks, then Gohan, Broly, and Goku. As he heard Goku fight to the very end, he was reminded of the first time he was on Earth. How he was the wall Kakarot had to climb over. Now Moro was his. He heard Kakarot yell his name, but it was future Trunks saying, "Father!" that finally made him snap into Ultra Ego, his purple aura shining bright, and in a quick push forward, he slammed his fist against Moro's chest, completely winding him. He then kicked him away and blasted him down. Moro retaliated, which Vegeta is hurt by, but he simply retorts by saying that the hotter his battle soul burns, the stronger he becomes. He continued to take power from Moro, but they seemed nearly equal in ability. Vegeta knew he had to do something crazy to end this fast. Vegeta fired a big bang attack at Moro to get him away for a second and rushed down to Trunks. Vegeta looks him in the eyes, and Trunks already knows what's on his mind. Vegeta then locks eyes with Kakarot, Broly, and Gohan. He says that he's thankful for them all being there, but it was time to end things once and for all. "Father, please, you can't do this. I just got you back. You can't leave us. I have to save you. I have to return you to my mother."
You already have, son. Your mother was right. You were right. Tell my little Trunks, you were right.
Vegeta had made up his mind. He was going to do this for himself. As he turned to face Moro, Vegeta told Trunks to make sure to revive the Namekians and Saiyans from Universe 6. They didn't do anything wrong. They were good people. Trunks tried to reach out, but Vegeta blasted away. Goku held on to Trunks, telling him to let his father go. He's defending Earth on his own terms, and if he knows a way to destroy Moro once and for all, then this may be their only chance. Vegeta had made up his mind. He was going to do this for himself, for Trunks, for Bulma, yes, even Kakarot. Moro and Vegeta rushed to each other, arms reaching out, but as they touched, Moro thought he was simply going to take Vegeta's power, but instead, the two of them appeared in a desolated planetoid, houses destroyed all around them. Vegeta smirked, asking Moro if he remembers what this place was. Moro looks around. It was the same planet they conquered and nearly destroyed together, a perfect place for their final showdown. Vegeta and Moro pushed forward, but the Saiyan grabbed him by the horns and threw him up to the sky, teleporting over him and punching him down to the ground with extreme force, a woof of wind traveling through the planet and cracking it in half. But all the energy that Moro has been absorbing and the instability of the angel power causes Moro to start fusing with the planet. Vegeta knows that he has to end things now, before he can spread anywhere else. But how could he do this if he just continues to absorb his energy? Well, if he's going to hell, he'll take him with him. Using the power of Ultra Ego, Vegeta attempts to use the Hakai energy he had been slowly learning and infusing it with his final atonement. Moro's planet hand tries to reach for Vegeta as the Saiyan pulls his arm back, his final explosion building around him. As Moro tries to reach for it and absorb it, the second his hand touches it, his hand begins to disintegrate. The whole planet was consumed by this energy. Moro tried to absorb his ki, but the heat was overwhelming as Vegeta pointed his hand to him and continued to gather more and more force from Moro. A giant ki Vegeta forming over him, pulling his hands back, looking up to the sky, knowing that out there, Earth was safe. Vegeta screamed out as the planet was consumed by the ki, a giant explosion shaking planets across. Vegeta's final atonement had saved the universe. But as Vegeta passed onto Otherworld, he saw a flashback to right before he returned to the battlefield to save everyone.
Vegeta?
I'm sorry about everything.
I just wish I wouldn't have been afraid of the Saiyan you used to be. I shouldn't have called the Galactic...
You had every right to be afraid. I only proved you right. But I'm going to make it up to all of you.
Bulma apologized to Vegeta. She explained that after Gohan found out what she did, he forced Bulma to explain to everyone else. The most Z fighters thought Vegeta was a maniac. They also admitted that what he did for them during the Cell games was invaluable, and told her that Vegeta was on the way to recovery, and she should have seen the good in him. Even while Kid Trunks was afraid of him, he told tales of his bravery and the slow descent into darkness because of Moro.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna bring him back. Our boy, I promise.
For the first time in a long time, Bulma saw Vegeta the way she did when she fell in love. For the first time, she trusted him. Vegeta passed away, as Trunks promised himself to carry on the legacy while looking up to the sky, a blip of energy in his vision. The battles were over. Vegeta had returned to them. Trunks turned to Goku and Gohan, then smiled at Broly, telling them that this isn't over yet. They have to gather the Dragon Balls. They have to revive and return the planets destroyed by Moro. It was Vegeta's last wish. At the end of the day, he really did care for those out there. That's when a familiar voice speaks to them.
Why, where is that Vegeta? That Moro guy has caused trouble all across my universe. I swear when I find him, if he's here, I will destroy him myself.
Everyone turned around to look at Champa in confusion. He was a little bit late. Beerus too appeared, asking what the hell was going on. Goku said that it didn't matter now. They'd gotten rid of Moro. Champa crossed his arms, telling Beerus that he'd better make everything right in his universe, otherwise he'd destroy the Earth. Don't worry, we're on it. And so, some time passed. The Z-Fighters gathered the Dragon Balls and returned to life the planets destroyed by Moro. The Tournament of Power was coming up. Trunks was already here. He could stay a bit longer to participate, but they needed one more person. That's when everything clears for Vegeta. Appearing before King Yema, alongside Uranai Baba, was Goku and Trunks. They both waved at him, telling him that it's time for his second chance. Vegeta's eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. So how about it, father? Are you down for a tournament? Vegeta cracked his knuckles. It was finally time to fight side by side forevermore. The end.